We have a loaded college basketball slate today and also some NBA action. I've got a few winners on the way for you guys, including our money line parlay of the day. We cashed on it yesterday. Let's see if we can do it again today. This is the free three. What's up, guys? Your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video. I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we're just trying to get to the bag together and make that money. Yesterday, that was a rough day. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Tough day. We were still able to finish 2 and 3 on the day, but not the day that we wanted to have. We won on Franz points, our bonus bet of Franz Wagner's points. We were able to cash in on that. And then our money line parlay of the day with Arkansas and Akron. It was definitely a sweat because Arkansas had to pull it out late, but we got it done. Our losses on the day, Wisconsin. They blew that game, man. I was looking at the game cast. I saw them turn over the ball late down the stretch. They had the lead. Tough loss there. Notre Dame on the spread. They were keeping the game close, and then Georgia was just hitting way too many shots. And then the Georgia-Notre Dame over was cooked as well. I mean, neither team could really get any offense going there. So 2 and 3 on the day yesterday, a losing day. You can see our year-to-date record right here. Not too shabby. 9 and 6 right now for the month of December, but we've got a full month to go, including a lot of games on Christmas Day, a lot of college basketball action, feast action. There's a lot of different things for us to be able to get right here. So hopefully we can keep the momentum going. It's been a good start for the month. Let's see what we can do. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button just yet, make sure you guys do so. And let's dive into these winners now real quickly. All right, first best bet of the day for this Wednesday, December the 4th card. We're going to go look at the college basketball slate. So many great teams are playing today. We've got ranked teams like Kansas playing. We've got UConn playing, Alabama, North Carolina. I mean, just so much great actions going on. We saw yesterday Clemson upset Kentucky. Just beautiful basketball. I love this time of year. And for me, I spoke about UConn, and I'm going to take them here in their first game against Baylor. And I'm going to take them -2.5, -110 odds. Now, this is just more of like a system play for me because it's not every day that you can get UConn at literally a 1 point or 1 bucket spread. And when you can get an opportunity like that, especially when they're at home, you got to take advantage of it. UConn is taking on a Baylor team that's very strong this year. Baylor, Scott Drew, we know they're a team that's perennially making to the conference tournament time. They're always a team that's going to go on an NCAA tournament run. They're 5-2 on the year. The only 2 losses came against Gonzaga on the road and then Tennessee on a neutral floor. So 2 losses that you're not really disappointed about. But when you look at the schedule that Scott Drew has put together for Baylor, especially on the non-conference side, I think what he's done is he's set up his team really well to be able to handle conference play, but maybe take a few licks and blows right now in the non-conference schedule. Like I mentioned, they played Gonzaga, they played Arkansas, they played St. John's, they played Tennessee, and now you got to play UConn on the road at UConn. Oh my goodness, talk about a gauntlet of a schedule that you've had to play thus far. And that's the reason why I like UConn in this situation, right? Baylor has played great teams, yes, but UConn, we saw what they did at the Maui Invitational. Nobody was expecting them to lose 3 straight games. To Memphis in overtime, then they lost to Colorado by 1, and then they lost to Dayton by like 20 or 18 or something like that. Completely blown out. They recovered in their last game at home against Maryland Eastern Shore, won that game by almost 50 points, and that's a great bounce back. But let's be honest, Maryland Eastern Shore is god-awful, ranked 361st in KenPom, so they're one of the worst teams in all of college basketball. And now you got to face a Baylor team that's very strong, both offensively and defensively. They have a great athleticism, and BJ Edgecombe and some of the great guard play that they have there. Is UConn going to be able to get it done? I don't know. I don't know if UConn's going to be as dominant in years prior as we've seen. Do they think they get some scares in the Big East this year? I do. But I think this is a great spot for Baylor to be able to recover after that Maui Invitational disappointment, really be able to kind of turn the ship around and pick up a few wins. Now, if they don't pick up this win here, then now we know, okay, like, this UConn team is just nowhere near as good as they were in years prior. The three-peat's not going to happen. But I think this is a good get-right spot for them because Baylor is traveling to UConn, like I mentioned. Then after this game, UConn goes to Texas to take on Texas, and then they have to play Gonzaga before they start conference play. So you look at that schedule. They lose to Baylor today. They may lose on the road at Texas, which is a very hostile environment to play in, and then lose against Gonzaga. That's not how you want to go into conference time with a 5, or that would put them at what? 6. If they lose today, that would be 3 straight losses. So that would literally put them at 5 and 6. UConn at 5 and 6? I don't think so. So for me, it's just one of those situational spots. Baylor is good. They're going to be a great NCAA tournament team. They're going to make a run in the Big 12 conference, but at home, one of the toughest places to play in all college basketball under one of the best coaches in Dan Hurley. I like what UConn can do here defensively to slow up Baylor, and we've seen Baylor at times really stub their feet, like against St. John's. It took double overtime for them to beat St. John's, and this is a UConn team that I think is going to beat St. John's in the conference time. So for me, it was just the first time that UConn really had a big step up in class at the Maui Invitational. Also, you're playing in Hawaii. I mean, I'm not saying those boys weren't focused, but it would be kind of hard to focus. UConn at home, bounce back spot. Also looking at the schedule that's coming up next for them, they need to win this game at home today. I'm taking them -2.5 as our first pick of the day. For our second best bet of the day, we're going to go with our two-team steam of the day, our moneyline parlay. Two teams to get it done on the college basketball hardwood. And I'm going to go Kansas on the money line. Oregon on the money line. That gets you to +125 odds when you parlay the two together. So let's go to Kansas real quickly. Kansas is 3.5-point favorites on the road against Creighton. And I like Kansas here. I would take them on the 3.5-point spread because this is more of a fade on Creighton than it is a play on Kansas. Kansas, a lot of people had their doubts about Kansas this year. They had their question marks, especially against, that Duke game on that neutral floor, but they were able to pull out that win despite the fact that Hunter Dickinson got ejected with 10 minutes left to go in that game. That, for me, is like the big calling card is what type of team is Kansas going to have this year. If your best player, Hunter Dickinson, gets fouled out, or if he gets injured, or in that case, in that game, got ejected, how do they recover? They were actually losing that Duke game when that happened, and they still came back and won that game. That's what I like about this Kansas team. They're not relying on one player. They've got guys like Zeke Mayo, KJ Adams, the veteran leadership of DeJuan Harris. They've got so many great players, and now you face a Creighton team that truthfully this year for me has been disappointing, in all honesty. Yes, they've got Kalkbrenner. Yes, they've got Pop Isaacs. Yes, they've got Stephen Ashworth. They've got a great team that they have, but every time they've stepped up in class and in competition, they've lost. Nebraska, they lost at home. San Diego State, lost on a neutral floor. Texas A&M, lost on a neutral floor. They were able to beat Notre Dame on a neutral floor. That was in that tournament in Vegas, but guess what? They didn't cover on the spread. So for me, even though they're at home today, even though they're in one of the toughest places to play on in Omaha, Nebraska, Creighton has one of the best home court advantages in all of college basketball. I just don't think that this is Greg McDermott's best team that he's had in years prior. They're top 50 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, but for me, when you really look at it, they have not been able to step up in class and beat the best teams, and Kansas is probably as good of a team as you're going to get. They're going to be a Final Four contender. They're a national championship contender. I'm taking them on the money line, even though they're on the road. I'm taking them just the money line. It might be a 1-point win, might be a 2-point win, but I would lay the 3.5-point spread. I'm taking Kansas here. Creighton, and I don't know if Kalkbrenner is going to be playing in this game because he's been battling with some injuries there. So if he doesn't play, that's definitely a huge loss. But if there's any big men in basketball who can handle the size of Kalkbrenner and his skill set, I mean, this guy had like 50 points earlier this year. It's Hunter Dickinson and then vice versa. So I like to kind of those two guys to offset each other. And if they offset the two stars, what are we left with? Kansas has the much better players there. I'm taking them on the money line. Now, Oregon, this is another road team today that's traveling down to USC to take on the Trojans. And now this is the first game in the Pac or Big Ten. Because I was going to say Pac-12. Look at me. Both of these teams now are in the Big Ten, and this is the first conference game for both of these teams. Oregon has been one of the better surprises thus far this season. I'm not going to lie. Dana Altman is a guy who can always figure it out. He always is going to have his team competitive. They're always a threat to go deep into the postseason. But earlier on in the season, this is a team that typically tends to let you down and lose in some head-scratching spots. But this year, their third game of the year, they had to literally beat Portland in overtime at home. Think about that. Portland, a team that's ranked over 300 on KenPom, one of the worst teams in all of college basketball. And then they go away and beat their rival Oregon State on the road by 3. Then they go on a neutral floor and they're able to beat Texas A&M, San Diego State, and Alabama. I was on Alabama that game, and they were able to beat Alabama. That, to me, is impressive. Now, this could be a letdown spot for Oregon now that off of those big wins, and now they're traveling on the road. But this is a fade on USC because Eric Musselman, this is his first year there at USC, but this is just not a really good team, in all honesty. Can they get it together later on in the season? Yes. We know Eric Musselman, if you historically follow college basketball, he's one of those coaches who love utilizing the transfer portal. Even before the transfer portal was a thing and NIL was a thing, he was a transfer portal coach. And Eric Musselman is a guy who did the same thing when he took over this USC staff. When he left Arkansas, he brought in a whole lot of transfers. And the thing about that is it's going to take you time to get acclimated. It's going to get you time to find a rhythm for you guys to be able to play well with each other. So later on in Big Ten conference play down the stretch, can they be a tournament team that can get hot? Absolutely. But right now, I'm not willing to put my money on them just because of the inexperience that they have playing together. And we've seen recently, even though they started off the year 5-1, they dropped back-to-back games against St. Mary's and New Mexico. So every time they've stepped up in class against Cal, St. Mary's, New Mexico, all teams that are ranked 100 or so in KenPom, they've lost. They've been able to beat out Chattanooga, Idaho State, San Jose State. These teams are 200 or worse on KenPom. But when they've had to step up in class, they've had problems. Oregon, one of the best teams that we've seen to start off the regular season, 8-0 to start off the year. Right now, I'm willing to take them on the road. Eric Musselman's team, good things that we can see from them, but I think this is a big letdown spot for them. The KenPom has this as a 77-70 win for Oregon. I think that's pretty accurate. I would lay the point spread, but I'm not going to lay the 5.5, 6 points, whatever the book has it at right now. I'm taking Oregon on the money line, 8-0 to start the year. Big wins so far. Even though they're going to travel, I like them here in this situational spot. Give me Oregon against USC to start off Big Ten conference play the right way. So we got those two done. CBB money line lay, and then also our play of the day. And we're going to go to our NBA player prop of the day. And it's been a guy who's been getting a lot of hate in the media recently. Is it warranted? Probably so. He hasn't been playing up to the standards that we're expecting from him. And he's one of the most streaky players in all the NBA. But I like him today. And that's Mr. D'Angelo Russell. We're going to go over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That gets you to minus 135 odds. Now, you can take the 18.5 if you don't want to play this 17.5 line for this type of juice. 18.5 will probably be maybe minus 110, minus 105, whatever the case may be. But I like D'Angelo Russell today. One, because this number is just a little bit low for a PRA line. Think about it. Points, rebounds, and assists, and you're giving me 17.5 for a guy like D'Angelo Russell who's literally shooting 5, 6, 9, 6, 6, 7 3-pointers a game. So he can literally go over this number on just 3-pointers alone. Think about it. You hit 3 threes, that's 9 points. You grab 2 rebounds, that's 11. You dish out 5 assists, there we are. We're right there. That's 16, 17. And then you get 2 free throws, we're over this number. So it's just way too low of a number for me for a guy who's, like I said, he's been feeling the scrutiny that the media has been getting. His name has been floating around in the trade rumors, on the trade block. Hey, this Lakers team is not going to be able to win with D'Angelo Russell. They even moved him to the bench. And he's been able to show up. Last game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, his first start after being moved to the bench, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists on 8 of 12 shooting. His game before that against OKC, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. His game before that against the Spurs, 17 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. His game before that against the Suns, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. So he's gone over this number in literally 4 of the last 4 games. I like this here. The Lakers are taking on a Heat team that are very vulnerable, not the same vaunted Heat defense that we're used to seeing. They've been dealing with a ton of injuries. I mean, I feel like they deal with injuries every year. That's just a Miami thing. I think Jimmy Butler plays today, but I do like the fact that they're probably going to show more emphasis on LeBron, show some maybe on Dalton Connect. Obviously, Austin Reeves, if he does play today, and if he doesn't, that means more minutes for D'Angelo Russell as well. Very winnable game for the Lakers. Only a 2.5 point spread, and I think that we're going to need a vintage performance from D'Angelo, and also considering how good Bam is defensively, he probably is going to be able to keep AD at bay. I'm not saying he's going to stop AD because AD is AD, but he's somebody that can be able to say, you know what, I'm not having my day today, D'Angelo, I'm going to need you to step up. This is hit at an 80% hit rate over the last 5 games, a 60% hit rate over the last 10 games, 65% hit rates in 2024, and I get it. Like I said, D'Angelo's a guy you might not want to put your coin on because of kind of the volatility that he gives you, but he should be able to easily get over this number here. I like 17.5. I like 18.5. D'Angelo Russell, a lot of the injuries the Lakers are dealing with right now, and they just need scoring outside of AD and LeBron, in all honesty. Yes, Dalton Connect, but he's been streaky as a rookie. That's expected. Gabe Vincent can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So we need D'Angelo Russell here to step up. I like him over 17.5 as our player prop of the day. Well, that's it for me, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 winners I'm giving you guys real quickly on this Wednesday card. Give me UConn on the spread, -2.5 against Baylor. Give me our money line parlay of the day, our day 2 of the ladder leg because we hit yesterday. Kansas on the money line, Oregon on the money line. That gets it to +125. And then finally, D'Angelo Russell over 17.5 points, rebound, and assist. I like that one to tuck us in. I don't have a bonus bet for you guys today. I was thinking about I want to force it after the day we had yesterday. Just want to see if ease things out. And then NFL tomorrow. We've been red hot in NFL, so I don't want to give it back too much coin. But I would look at Franz Wagner's points as the Magic are playing again today against the 76ers. So not trying to talk you guys off anything, but I would look at that. A lot of people are on Cade Cunningham's points, rebounds, and assists. I'm not opposed to that as well. I do like that. I think he always steps up when he has to play the good teams. And the Pistons are playing the Celtics today, but they're also on the second out of a back-to-back. I like Jalen Suggs for 2 3-pointers. That's another line. And Caldwell Pope for the Magic for 2 3-pointers. Those are all some leans that you guys can take a look at, as you're, thinking about cooking up some things or some player prop parlays, whatever the case may be. But those are what I'm looking at. But these are going to be officially the 3 picks that I put in for today's card. All right, my friends, let's get to that cheddar. Dictate your fate. And as always, I'm here every single day dropping picks and plays. So if you need some more winners, smash that subscribe button, click the bell, and I've got you guys. All right, my friends, let's get to that cheddar, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Later, gang.